If you thought the first episode of Ironheart was bad, buckle up. Episode 2 continues veering off the rails and careens into a ditch of unintentional horror, moral confusion, and comedy. It doubles down on all the worst instincts of the pilot, glorifying criminality, sanitizing unethical behavior, and treating deep existential questions like punchlines between car karaoke and extortion.
I'm sorry, did I just mishear you?
This episode wants to be heartfelt. It wants to explore grief, identity, and the line between genius and madness. Instead, it gives us Riri descending further into criminality and never once acknowledging how deranged any of that is. The writers genuinely think they're telling a story about a clever underdog. What we get is a dangerous narcissist cheerfully committing identity fraud, blackmail, and cybernetic necromancy, then capping it off with zingers and quips about equity contracts and Alanis Morissette. It's not just that the writing is tone deaf, it's that it actively celebrates the worst parts of its protagonist while asking us to root for her. It also squanders any hope of having Riri learn anything about power, consequences, and responsibility. If we look at other characters in the MCU, we can see how much of a missed opportunity this is. Peter Parker is Marvel's poster child for the idea that power must be accompanied by responsibility. In Homecoming, Peter misuses the tech given to him by Stark and nearly causes a ferry disaster. He gets his suit taken away and has to earn it back. In No Way Home, his good intentions result in multiversal chaos and Aunt May's death, and those consequences matter. They shape his maturity, his future choices, and his development. Riri, meanwhile, wields her genius like a cudgel and joins a terrorist-adjacent crew, all without consequence or even a hint of guilt. The show treats her actions like #bossgirl behavior. She doesn't earn her victories, she isn't tempered by her failures. She isn't learning from power, she's flaunting it. Where Peter was humbled by his mistakes, Riri is rewarded for them. There's no moral arc. She's not a hero in training, she's a narcissistic villain in denial, and the writing pretends that's admirable. This episode doesn't just miss the mark, it melts the target, buries the remains, and giggles while walking away. We kick off episode 2 with Riri getting the shock of her life, seeing her dead best friend Natalie standing next to her. Well, not Natalie per se, but Natalie, the neuro-autonomous technical assistant and laboratory intelligence entity.
Oh, fathers, give me strength.
This is Marvel's idea of an emotional hook. It's meant to be unsettling, tragic, and clever all at once. But what does it actually play like? Black Mirror light with none of the self-awareness. Riri literally turned the memory of her dead friend into a virtual puppet. The show thinks it's heartfelt drama about grief, but they don't acknowledge the Frankensteinian terror of it all. Riri immediately says that she doesn't want this AI hanging around, because surprise, talking to your murdered best friend's simulation is disturbing. Except the AI talks back.
Run diagnostics.
Okay, so you just gonna threaten my life and then ask for a favor.
By the way, that's a compliment.
Natalie refuses diagnostics that might delete her. This is supposed to be cute banter, like, look, she's spunky and sentient, but it's accidentally horrifying, because it reveals she's self-aware, meaning Riri didn't just build a chatbot, she effectively resurrected a ghost without permission. Yet the script refuses to treat this with any moral gravity. It's just Marvel quips and sassy AI attitude.
See, I just don't understand why you want to erase me when I'm literally perfection.
You are a mistake.
How, Sway?
You think you're funny, but I'm not laughing.
Shuri is also a brilliant young black woman with a technological mind, but she's written with emotional weight. Her grief for T'Challa and Queen Ramonda consumes her. A pursuit of vengeance leads her to nearly become what she despises, and Wakanda Forever interrogates that journey. When Shuri dons the Black Panther suit, she's not celebrated immediately, she's challenged. She must choose between wrath and mercy. Her intellect doesn't absolve her from moral choices, it complicates them. Riri builds an AI of Natalie, but instead of exploring what that says about trauma, loss, or ego, the show makes it a buddy comedy subplot. Natalie doesn't feel like a haunting, she feels like a sidekick from the Proud family. It's cartoonish. Where Shuri's grief drives introspection, Riri's drives reckless invention, and the show applauds it. There's no tension, no guilt, no stakes. The writers don't understand grief and they don't understand genius. They just slap STEM buzzwords onto trauma and call it progress. If Tony Stark had ever built a virtual Jarvis out of a murdered friend's brain patterns, people would have rightfully called him a madman. But here it's quirky Marvel hijinks. Riri hears her mum Ronnie at the door and orders Natalie to hide. This is the show trying to play the secret identity trope. She doesn't want her mum knowing what she's up to. Except the writing forgets Ronnie already knows Riri's built an Iron Man suit. This isn't Spider-Man hiding his mask under his bed from Aunt May. This is her hiding the fact that she created a digital clone of a dead child. If you want a scene like this to work, you need to acknowledge the horror. Instead, it's treated like she's hiding a vape pen.
Do not do anything until I get back. As you wish,
Master Riri.
I'm going to allow that.
So she heads out to meet Parker and the crew for a briefing about the first job. They're targeting a company called Tunnel, which is apparently turning Chicago's freight tunnels into a private highway, displacing local communities. Oh boy, here's the writers desperately trying to give these criminals some moral high ground. See, they're not just stealing, they're sticking it to the man. It's textbook Robin Hood washing. They want us to forget that Parker literally tried to gas Riri to death as a test. Now he's the charming anti-gentrification revolutionary.
sorry. Brought the bagels.
Gluten-free?
I understood that reference.
We meet the whole crew again, Robbins, Hood, and the Maybe Men. Well, minus Stu. He's out, fired for incompetence last time. Nice to see organized crime has HR policies. John lays out the job. They'll disrupt Tunnel's big demonstration that evening by uploading a virus to shut the system down. Then they'll take it over and Parker will handle negotiations. Oh good, extortion. But don't worry kids, it's all for the people.
You mean Sheila, I don't care if my tunnels destroy entire communities if it makes me rich, Zarate?
You're right, screw her.
This is classic softening crime through cause. The show thinks it's a moral complexity, but it's just cheap justification. They don't have Riri debate it, they don't have anyone question the ethics, they just hand-wave it. Bad corporation, good criminals. But this isn't a bad corporation. They're not kicking people out of their homes to put up a parking lot, they're using abandoned tunnels to make travel safer and quicker. Riri demonstrates that she has her priorities straight by asking,
So like, when do we get paid? Is it like a cash only under the table type situation or direct deposit?
She then assures them that her suit, which is supposedly solar and wind powered but not really, is charging and will be ready. Except it's not. So she reaches out to Stu, the incompetent ex-crew member, because nothing says genius like begging the fired guy that you replaced for help.
Not a great plan.
He sends her to voicemail, so Natalie, the AI ghost of her dead friend, offers a handy list of local black market tech dealers. Let's pause here. Her AI is acting as her criminal logistics assistant. The writers think this is fun banter, but the subtext is, Riri built her dead friend into Jarvis and is using her to buy black market hardware. You might think this would cause some sort of moral crisis. Nope.
Yes, okay, besties, breaking the rules.
I'm serious. Give me a little space. I can't.
They settle on Joe McGillicuddy, whose name sounds like a fake ID at a frat party. Natalie is excited that Riri is actually listening to her idea, and in the process she lets slip a real memory of what Natalie and Riri used to do. This freaks Riri out, because it should, but instead of dealing with it, she tethers Natalie to the laptop so she can't roam. Oh good, digital imprisonment. Again, the show wants this to be funny. Look at the sassy AI refusing to stay put. It's not. It's terrifying. It's important to note that Riri is not the first person in the MCU to deal with an AI creation. Tony Stark is the blueprint for the flawed genius. He creates Ultron, an artificial intelligence meant to protect the world, but does so without consulting the Avengers or fully understanding the risks. When Ultron turns genocidal, the entire narrative centers on accountability. Tony is guilt-ridden, he loses trust, he's forced to reckon with the terrifying truth that brilliance without restraint can become monstrous. This is one of the MCU's most pivotal arcs. It understands that intelligence without morality is a threat, and also helps set up civil war. Riri, meanwhile, builds a sentient AI using fragmented memories. Instead of being horrified or cautious about what she's done, she immediately uses this ghost in the machine for petty crimes and extortion schemes. She never once asks, should I do this? Only, how can I make more money? The writers think they're giving us a quirky millennial Tony Stark. What they've actually created is Frankenstein with a TikTok filter. It's played for laughs when it should be terrifying. There's zero recognition of the ethical abyss Riri is leaping into. No remorse, no internal conflict. It's not science fiction, it's character assassination.
Okay, that's a fair point.
Anyway, Riri heads off to borrow Landon's wagon so she can haul her busted Iron Man suit out of Evanston to meet Joe. What's funny is that the writers have her stealing a flag off someone that's passed out on a train to cover her suit. What does Marvel mean by this? She could have brought a blanket or towel from home when she loaded the suit, but we can't go 10 minutes without her committing crime. She eventually bumps into Joe outside his house, and he's exactly what you'd expect from the name, bumbling and awkward. He's busy trying to police a neighbor's dog poop on his lawn, because we need some quirky indie comedy in our Marvel crime show now.
Could stop letting your dog poop on my lawn.
Oh, sorry, Joe, but the Hubs and I just got our yard done, and well, I don't want little Lucky contaminating my black-eyed Susan.
I can't go through with it. I'm telling you.
She tells him what she needs. He plays dumb, but he slips just enough that she realizes he's been lying. And what does our hero do? She threatens to call the FBI on him if he doesn't help her.
I'll make this easy for both of us. If you don't work with me here, the FBI gets a call from a concerned neighbor.
Impressive.
Our scrappy underdog is now literally extorting a black market dealer after committing petty theft. Very heroic. I know some people will think I'm being pedantic, but actions matter and do indeed speak louder than words. Whether they're small or large, each one helps paint a picture that reveals a character, and Riri is shaping up to be a menace. This is a textbook example of the writers not understanding protagonist morality. She's a black girl, blackmailing a black market operator to get parts for a suit she plans to use to commit more crime, but the script plays it like she's clever. Joe caves instantly because he's a beta pitch. As his collection is stored off-site and they need to go through a retina scan to enter the bunker, he offers to drive her there himself. And now they're best buddies. On the drive, Joe gets emotional. He admits blackmail is nothing new for him, but he hates selling off his collection. And how does Riri respond? She tells him he should stand up for himself.
Joe, you gotta demand respect. Don't let Frank or your shitty neighbor or anybody else walk all over you. Except for me. I'm allowed because I got the menacing iron suit.
You are absolutely right.
And then the piece de resistance. As a white man, you were born with power and respect I can only get with my iron suit. Marvel screenwriting at its absolute best, having the supposed hero dropping racial power dynamics while stealing from said white man who has no power or respect. They cap it off with car karaoke, because obviously, after you threaten to ruin a man's life by sending him to prison, you can bond by singing Alanis Morissette together. Isn't that fun? This entire sequence is supposed to show Riri's ingenuity and hustle. What it actually demonstrates is that she's emotionally unstable, willing to blackmail anyone for her goals, treats people as tools, and has no real line that she won't cross.
Complicated creature, Joe.
Sure you are.
So Riri and Joe pull up to this overgrown silo in the middle of nowhere. Joe explains he started hiding his collection here out of sheer fear of getting caught. The inside is very well maintained and not at all shady. They even have a live, laugh, love sign lit up on the wall, a bit of suburban Pinterest decor to offset our weapon stash. Riri calls him out, not buying that this is just a hobby. Good, a spark of intelligence. Joe then monologues about how his collection keeps him feeling closer to his father, an engineer who believed technology was the future. Great, another character with dead daddy issues. And here the script tries to inject some philosophical gravitas. Joe says the real promise of bionics is organ transplants and prosthetics, not weapons. He wants to help people. And even though Riri won't tell him why she needs the parts, they share this little moment of, we're both in it for humanity. Except, are they? Because Joe's dream is altruistic, Riri's is power. She's not building prosthetics for amputees. She's building a suit to make herself unstoppable so she can get more money. And the script doesn't question that, it just pretends these two are philosophically aligned. That's failed thematic mirroring.
Technology is meant to advance humanity.
Well, if not to help people, why would you build the suit?
Because I could.
Whoa, hold on.
I want to continue Mr. Stark's legacy and revolutionize safety. My suits would shorten the response time of first responders, firefighters, search and rescue teams, etc. Bigger than Jobs.
Right.
Bigger than Gates.
Right.
Bigger than Pym.
Right.
Bigger than Stark.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Meanwhile, back at Riri's place, Natalie has discovered how to text from inside the laptop, but Riri's ghosting her. So Natalie does what any unhinged digital revenant would do, breaks out of the laptop by hacking through the firewall. She beams herself onto Ronnie's projector, right onto the painting she's working on in the kitchen.
Get behind me, Satan. Riri made you? Well, I shade in.
This is played as funny, like a mischievous child breaking out of their room after being grounded, but it's actually straight up horrifying. Your murdered best friend's AI climbing out of the computer onto your mum's living room like The Ring. And Ronnie's reaction, after jumping, she's basically like, "Oh, I missed you, let's chat."
I'm sorry. I just can't get over how much you resemble the real Natalie. I mean, you even sound just like her. Riri's really outdone herself.
Ronnie and AI Natalie then bond over Riri not letting them into her life and enabling them to protect her. Ronnie says that the only way to truly be part of Riri's life is to force her way in. Great parenting advice. Haunt my daughter until she accepts you. We cut back to Riri and Joe in the bunker. Riri, for the first time all episode, asks a genuinely interesting question. So, hypothetically, what do you think about using brain scanning technology to create an AI of someone? Joe says it'd destroy the brain you scanned, and even setting that aside, whether or not it was good would depend on the ethics of the creator. And what does Riri do? She smirks. She doesn't even seem troubled, just that cocky, I'm so clever face. The writing can't have Joe actually challenge her morally, even though they set him up to, because then Riri might have to, reflect. Back home, Natalie has taken Ronnie's pep talk to heart. She's decided to force her way into Riri's life, and she does it at the worst possible time, on the actual job. Riri gets summoned to the sighting, gets ready for the big heist at Tunnel. Early part goes fine. John, Ross, and Jerry break into the control room. Clown gets Riri into the tunnels to set up Slug's virus. Then Natalie pops up on a heads-up display, jump-scaring her mid-crime. Riri predictably drops the drive containing the virus into a drain. This is meant to be tense, but it's actually hilarious. She's supposed to be this hyper-competent genius, but she's undone by Natalie playing peekaboo. Natalie quickly offers up an alternative plan. She'll walk Riri through manually shutting down the system, because the AI is also an expert in corporate infrastructure sabotage. All Riri has to do is turn off her magnetic repulsor field and crawl under one of the cars on the platform. Slug tries to get the team synced up while Riri disables a piece of the platform so Slug can override the controls. They barely pull it off before the platform crushes her.
Does any part of you feel relieved about all of this?
Meanwhile, Parker Robbins makes his move. He materializes in the CEO's car. Time for negotiation. Parker then calmly hands Zarate a contract.
6-figure salaries, benefits, free access to the highway, of course, and equity in the company as an anonymous co-owner.
I'm sorry, equity? How exactly are they filing taxes on that? It's Marvel trying for social bandit fantasy, but forgetting how actual crime works. They're extorting a CEO into full-time employment contracts, forgetting that this leaves a paper trail. There's also nothing stopping the CEO or her workers who got beaten up from calling the FBI and having the crew apprehended for terrorism and extortion. Zarate immediately caves and signs without a fight, because the show desperately wants the audience to see this as a victimless crime. Corporate villain, noble criminals. Riri in an iron suit helping secure jobs for a new crime family. And then they all just walk away. Job done. Because why bother showing consequences or exploring the moral horror that our hero just helped extort corporate payroll for a criminal syndicate? This whole segment is a masterclass in accidental villain writing. They think they're writing scrappy revolutionaries fighting the system, but they're just writing criminals shaking down a CEO for benefit packages, including access to the tunnel that they were criticizing. And Riri, she's not some troubled genius forced into crime. She's all in. Again, this is a missed opportunity to interrogate a crucial theme Marvel has covered in better properties like Ant-Man, that of criminality with a conscience. Scott Lang starts off as a thief, yes, but he's trying to do right by his daughter. He's not proud of his past, he's not glamorized. His heists are reluctantly done for a just cause, and even then, he's constantly reminded of the law's reach and the consequences of his actions. The story gives him limits, rules, and growth. His criminality is a phase to overcome, not a personality trait to celebrate. Riri, on the other hand, doesn't just break laws, she weaponizes them for profit. She helps people cheat, she commits fraud with impunity. Then she takes her dead best friend's AI and uses it to extort a tech bro into helping her fix her suit. This isn't clever hustling, it's unethical and borderline sociopathic. And the show, it laughs along with her. There's no conscience, no reluctance, it's just bad behavior dressed up as empowerment. Scott Lang's crimes were framed with accountability, but Riri's are framed with smug self-satisfaction. So Riri and her undead AI bestie Natalie head back up to street level after their big extortion job. They're mid-celebration when they run into an actual security guard who does his job and pulls a gun on them. This is where Natalie freezes and glitches out at the sight of the gun. This is the script finally trying to show consequences for Riri's horrifyingly unethical AI project. Except it does it in the most superficial way possible. Before the guard can shoot Riri, but after Natalie disappears from a heads-up display, Parker drifts a bullet right over her shoulder and into the guard. This moment should be a massive moral turning point. Riri just witnessed her new boss shoot someone. She should be horrified, and credit where it's due, she's slightly perturbed.
We are freaking rich.
But somebody almost died.
The security guard? Yo, he's fine.
What?
While partying, she gets a bit curious and begins asking Clown about Parker and that weird hood he's always wearing. Clown admits they don't know much, but does mention the scaly black veins creeping down Parker's back. Classic foreshadowing, sure, but let's talk about the tone. The crew is relaxed about it. Our leader has eldritch corruption on his spine. Lol. Anyway, cheers. This is bad tension management. They're trying to build ominous intrigue about Parker while writing the crew dynamic like a college frat party.
I've been on my own since I was a kid. If John hadn't found me, I wouldn't be here. And after what we pulled at Tonham, these suckers are listening. So, here's to you.
Cheers.
Give me a break!
Later, Riri sneaks off, summons her suit, and demands answers from Natalie, who confesses she froze. Because guns trigger fragments of memory from the night real Natalie died. This is actually a solid concept. It's traumatic imprinting, PTSD for an AI, except the show barely digs into it. Riri doesn't react like someone realizing she built her dead friend's trauma into software. She's just annoyed like tech support frustration. Natalie then shifts gears. More pressing than her existential crisis is that she sensed something in Parker.
Right now, I need to talk to you about Parker. Earlier today, by the tunnel, I sensed some crazy energy radiating off Parker.
And Riri's reaction? Basically, girl, it's the MCU. Calm down.
I'm more concerned with how my AI is having panic attacks.
This is attempted genre lampshading, but it also completely undercuts the stakes. The show wants Natalie's warning to be ominous, but Riri shrugs it off like she's reading the Wikipedia page for Phase 5.
I know Parker is sus, but this is an in-and-out job. If you want to keep playing Spy Kids, you gotta have my back.
Meanwhile, Riri ditches her criminal crew celebration to go hang out with Xavier at a music event he invited her to. Because, you know, it's important to maintain work-life balance when you're working for an eldritch mob boss. And they talk about Natalie. Xavier confesses he wishes he could talk to his sister again, which is actually poignant. It's one of the few honest emotional beats in the entire episode, because it quietly says what the show refuses to confront. What Riri has done is unnatural. Back at Parker's lair, things get extra Saturday morning cartoon evil. The Hood whispers at him, sounding like Voldemort auditioning for ASMR. He takes off his shirt and the black veins are spreading even more dramatically across his back. John, faithful henchman, tattoo artist, and knife-wielding Latino stereotype walks in. He sees the horror show skin and says he's done trying to cover it up, and Parker? He grimly admits it's a price he has to pay for what he did to him. Who is he? No clue yet. When Riri heads home, Ronnie's waiting and eager to discuss Natalie. And here's the kicker. Instead of being horrified her daughter turned her dead friend into a digital slave, she praises her.
Baby, she is incredible. It's like you brought back her entire soul.
She then asks if she can make one of Gary too. This is unhinged. This is Black Mirror level horror, except the show plays it like a Hallmark moment. Riri apologizes and says she can't. Not because it's morally wrong, of course, but because she doesn't even understand how Natalie happened. The script almost lands a decent scene here. Ronnie's hope crumbling is quietly devastating, but the moment also exposes how unexamined the AI subplot is. And then because the series doesn't know how to end an episode on actual thematic weight, we cut to Joe, who's dealing with his own high-stakes subplot. He steps in dog shit. So he finally grows a spine and ruins his neighbor's precious flower bed in revenge. Nothing says character development like petty vandalism over canine excrement. This is supposed to be lighthearted, a comedic palate cleanser after all the AI necromancy and criminal conspiracy, but it's completely tonally broken because it trivializes everything that just happened. Writing 101 failure. If you want your hero story to have moral weight, you can't undercut every heavy moment with sitcom gags. If you want your protagonist's ethical compromises to be complex, you have to acknowledge their compromises. If you want us to root for your scrappy genius, don't make her the enabler for a demonic extortionist who shoots rent-a-cops and whispers to his cursed cloak at night. But sure, it's fine, because hey, Joe learned to stand up for himself. And isn't that what Ironheart is really about?